Hey friends, it is time for September garden tour. It is the middle of September. If you're new here, I am Stephanie and this is the Polish Potager, and I am gardening in the middle of Michigan, zone 6A. And we're gonna start here in the backyard with my free roaming chickens. Hello ladies. What's going on? You think so? So this is the backyard. And the chickens like this time of year because the plants are established enough that I let them out to free range in the backyard. Enjoy, girls. Okay, we're going to start in this side, and we do have a little bit of a sun issue. I will use my sun shield hand. Here is the 16-foot long bed. You can see here I took all these peppers out the other day, the banana peppers. I still have nasturtium here in the front. And look at this really pretty one. This is a variegated nasturtium. Isn't it pretty? I think it's called Alaska is the variation name. I don't see any flowers, but these ones, these red ones are really pretty too. That's just the regular leaf. Hey, honey. Got some bachelor buttons still popping down here. These guys didn't take off like they did last year. I'm not exactly sure why. In the middle of this bed right here, I have got the green onions, and these grow for me every year. These are older ones right here, but you can see back in here, I've got a lot of the newer, younger ones coming up, and those will come up more and more every year. I just take these seed heads right here, pop them off, and those are all seeds. You see? What are you doing down there? And I just drop them down in here for next year. Hi. Is there something that you want down there? You're being awful noisy. I'm trying to make a video. Very bad etiquette. Jeez. So past these, I have some more nasturtiums in here. You can tell the chickens were all in here. All the soil's upended. But look at all these pretty nasturtiums. So pretty. Here's the orange one. That one looks like they've killed pretty good. And then I've got all of these zinnias back in the corner, all coming out forward here. These zinnias will stay till the frost comes. They're so pretty. Look at this one. Even as they start to die and they get kind of like papery looking, I love the look of them. Like this one's so pretty. It's past its prime, but out here in the garden, she's just so gorgeous. Okay, backing up and looking at the top row there, this whole top right here is sunflowers and tomatoes. And these tomatoes have been not great this year. It's not been a great tomato year. I don't know how you guys are feeling. It's been a beautiful sunflower year. Look at this, how pretty this sunflower is. Little pollen spots in the middle. Oh, you are so pretty. All right. This chicken is still down in here. What is so good that's down there? But in this middle here, I kind of have a whole area of flowers. This is intentional. Got a little bit carried away from me this year. Some of these sunflowers were planted by birds and squirrels. And I did plant some dry beans in here that I'd hoped would go up this trellis at the back. And instead, they've taken over they've taken over the sunflower and tomato vines. And I've got this giant jungly thing here. Now they are a bean that I'm going to use dried. You can see there's some down here. So I'm just gonna leave them on here until frost and then come through and pick them all out and shell them. So they're kind of everywhere. There's some back here, back there. I'm just letting them go. And I do have tomatoes that are in here. You can see, but I also have a lot of disease. There's not a lot of air movement in here because this bean vine is kind of taken over. You can see all the disease back there, but there are tomatoes. So I'm coming out every couple days and picking the tomatoes that I do have. These ones right here have gone really well. Even though the plant's dying, I'm getting lots of tomatoes. I think it's called Early Dial. Lots and lots and lots. This one's a different one that is coming from way over there. It's like a random guy. So I'm really, really pleased with this variety here, this Early Dial. And I am gonna double check and make sure. Wait, look, can you see that way up there? Like that's the top of the chicken coop. That's beans. That is a giant pile of beans on a sunflower. So that is that bed over here. Back in this corner area, back up a little. Remember when you could see in there? You can't really see, but that's the chicken coop. There's my 2 big planters. In there is an entire area we're gonna walk into. And then this, there's no wall there. That's a giant wall made up of squash. It's center cut squash. And here are my chickens who think that they're porch chickens. If you get poop all over the deck, Brent is going to be mad at you. People will be walking by the house going, hey, there's just some city chickens hanging out. Come on, get back in the yard. Get off my deck. Get out there. Okay, let's start here. Right in here, this is this is Marguerite chamomile. And it's so pretty. It is just getting established here in this. I didn't pick and harvest any of it this year. I'm trying to just let it get established there. I didn't want to take it back too bad. This is crazy vine everywhere. This is a center cut squash. And I don't know if there's one right here easily you can see or not, but it is growing from way back here, and it's growing up the chicken coop and up over top into here, and it's meeting this other one. And then it kind of came down all over here because under here I got these scabiosa flowers. Here's some more you can see closer. And then this white, and then this really pretty purple. And these are their seed heads right here, and I believe that these are, oh, look at all those seeds. I'm gonna have to come out and save some of these seeds. These are gonna obviously self-sow right here like crazy. And they, oh, they're so pretty. This is my first year with them, so I don't have a lot of information. But there's some basil back here. I've got some more of the Marguerite chamomile. They're kind of getting invaded by this. I got some more anise hyssop. This has fallen over. I'll probably come through and clean this all out pretty soon. I've been leaving it longer than necessary for the bees. And then here is the center cut squash forest. It goes all the way down here. Look, it's starting to grow up that sunflower right there. These are all planted back in here. So let's walk through here. This is where the chickens are at. Hang on. There's the chicken coop. I got a couple girls in there. Here's a center cut squash hanging. There's some little babies that didn't quite make it. There's another one back there. Let's walk on through and around. All right, so back, why are you following me? Would you like a treat? You's a nice girl. I just don't have any treats right now. So back in here is the underbelly of all those squash vines. You see them all? Now there is, ouch! Don't pick my toes. I got flip-flops on. Get out of here! In here is all of the center cut squash I've been harvesting, and I've harvested a lot. There's one down in here. You can kind of see a big one down there. I didn't get to. I had a sugar pie pumpkin back here. Yes. What are you doing? Get away from my toes. Get. Hey, honey. Get out of here. You lunatic. Hi. What's going on? How are you doing? Are you being good? You are? Oh, good. All right. So that's what's behind all there. It's all just open vines. Right over here, even though you can't see it, is another 16-foot bed that has been kind of taken over by this. Now, I did grow some beans under here for fall. They're obviously not going to amount to much because this is taken over. These tomatoes are on their way out. I noticed I did have a really big one back there I want to get to. But back in here is pretty much just more of that vine. And I did that kind of intentionally because I knew that once this guy got going, I wouldn't be able to get in that back corner. So I kind of just sacrificed early in the season. And starting right about there, I put tomatoes this way. Over here, this is the corner that looks terrible, but I love my eucalyptus. I'm going to go eucalyptus again this year. I love them so much. Here's all the anise hyssop I cut back. Here are the dead cosmos. That's a mostly dead Minnesota vines that can get pulled out of there. I did cut back these cosmos, but I've got a little bit of blooms on them still, so I'm letting them go. They're just so pretty. I love the double, all the ruffly petals on these ones. They're really, really pretty. And then I got some sunflowers in here still. A little bit more cleanup to do over here. A little bit of basil. Everything is pretty much petering out right around here. Making our way out of the backyard, here is my bed with all my strawberries in it and my celery. This is celery that I've cut back once, so I'll show you right here. I cut it back and now it's regrowing new roots. You can see it really good on that one. See where I cut it? And now all these new ones. These are not going to get super big, but I'll be able to use them for soups or things, or feed them to the chickens or the rabbit. All the strawberry plants are making more little flowers. That's funny. These are all full-size strawberries. This right here is spinach that I started for the year. The lettuce never really took off. Again, we got so much rain, those little lettuce seeds couldn't really make it. This is another Cosmo I've got right here. She's super pretty, really delicate. I cut that back. I got a little bit left. Here was the beautiful sunflower that has to come down now. I've been trying to hold on because the bees love it so much. You see that guy in there sleeping? Oh, maybe. There he is. Yeah, the bees love it so much that I'd really hate to take it down. There is a tomato plant back here with some good sized tomatoes on it. That is a Dr. White Cheese tomato, but it's getting diseased now too. It's kind of coming to the end of tomato season. Down the side of the driveway here, I've got all the vertical gardening. Not much going on. There's a couple little tomatoes here, cherry tomatoes. I do have a couple peas starting, but they're just not getting very big. So whether I get peas or not will all depend on how late our frost is. My typical frost, or first frost here for me, is October 15th is kind of the date that I follow. So peas, once established, will make it through a frost. The problem I have is getting them to produce pea pods at that point. These are beans that I'm letting dry on the pod. They're called Tanya's Pink Potted. They're really pretty when they're in flower, but they are still a little moist. I'm just letting them dry on there, and then I'll pick those off and use them for seed next year. Oh, look how pretty these guys are looking. I love this little succulent garden. These were the mother succulents that died. They came out and made seeds this year, and then this part of the plant dies and all the new pups stay. Aren't they pretty? So pretty. As is this. Hello. This is my beautiful trailing red tornado ivy. And it is a trailing one where they come out and it's making seeds. These will turn into seeds. Let me show you. This one looks kind of dry here. And I will save those seeds for next year's plants. And then same thing over here. I got tomatoes kind of biting the dust. Just picking, oh, that one's yucky. And then I've got much more successful peas over here. They get a little more shade, so they're doing better right now. And if it gets, if temperatures are right, I will get good peas heading into fall here. We'll have to wait and see. Here I have got just the remains of some zinnias. These are the cactus bloom ones right here. Oh, here's a really pretty one. Look at this guy. Aren't they pretty? They're all fluffy. These are the ones that I don't like the way they look on pictures, but I got some seeds and I love them in person. So I guess I'm really happy I got them. All the sunflowers here are pretty much dying except for some smaller ones. This velvet one, I think it's called red velvet. I saved seeds from this one. And this one back here is really pretty still too. I love it. Looks like it's got dusky pollen on it or something. It's just so pretty. But this is pretty much on its way out. Oh, front we're losing most of the color. Although I do have this really pretty begonia. This pink baby. These never took off much this year. I have a hard time evaluating the shade to sun ratio in the front of my yard. As this tree gets bigger, it gets a little bit more messed up. But these nasturtiums did okay out here. And this begonia got a little bit more sun. The scarlet kale looks really pretty. That's going pretty good. Rolling around this way, I've got the kale, which did okay here. Not spectacular, but it was pretty. I might put a couple different colors next year, like do like a scarlet kale with a Siberian kale. This is my peony that never flowered this year, but at least no one chopped it down, so that's good. Some little lobelias in there, and then my honeysuckle here on the corner. This was plagued with aphids in the spring, but it bounced back beautifully for fall. Its fall showing is just gorgeous. No sign of any aphids. And that's the thing. If you kind of really embrace the whole idea of an organic garden, you might get aphids at one point, but eventually those aphids are going to attract some natural predators. These are just beautiful. And here is my favorite walk of this time of the year. Can you hear all the crickets? There were no crickets here when I first started gardening. You never heard crickets. Back in here, I've just got some random flowers. I've got this giant Cosmo. Look how big this thing is. But it has never flowered. It's just gotten green. I don't know what's going on with it. But there are some snapdragons back here. Hello, crickets. I can hear them. That lily's blooming. She's pretty. I've got some beans up here. These are runner beans. They're the only ones that made it through my big pill bug adventures this spring. The pill bugs ate everything I put up here except for this one beanstalk. So I'm going to save those for seed for next year. And here is the black-eyed Susan bush that has taken over. I did not plant this. I have no idea where it came from. Isn't that crazy? There's some calendula in here that severely needs to be deadheaded. These are the seeds I've shown you in a couple of videos. I can take this off and I can just toss these in here and I'll get calendula next year. Not all seeds will make it through the winter, but calendula will, at least where I'm at. This is alyssum. This is white. You can get it in a purple color too. It's actually a really good companion plant to put around. It attracts the bugs, but that means they leave your crops alone. Right in here, this whole pile are dahlias. It looks like they're gonna bloom again. I'm getting a lot of blooms. And then this is that sweet woodruff that takes over. I'll come through and clean out my path again in the fall and the spring. The phlox is still going up here, but that's about it up on top. Let me back up so you can see. The rose bush is kind of done for the year. It's dormant. And then up in front here, there is oregano that will go to seed. I've got sage I need to come in and pick. Savory, chives. There's some lavender back in there that's kind of getting overshadowed. And then I have some more black-eyed Susans. There was daisies back there. And here is some more of that variegated nasturtium. Isn't it pretty? And this is all columbine that bloomed in the spring. Thyme. Oh, and here's some dill seeds. This is a dill flower that's gone to seed. And here is what all those seeds look like. And you're gonna laugh, but I'm gonna stick those in my pocket. And then when I get in the house, I'm gonna put them in an envelope. Here's some more of that same Cosmo I had in the back, in the driveway. She's so delicate and pretty. Just the shades of her color are so pretty. The yellow to pink to reds. I really like her. Some scarlet kale here. This down here is lupin, which bloomed already and probably won't anymore. But I did get some seeds off of it. And then right here next to this, look how pretty this snapdragon is. That's a new one for me this year. And here are some seeds for it I can come out and save in those little pods. Well, aren't you a pretty dahlia? That's a Figaro dahlia. That's just an annual. And you can see that I got this oregano carpet starting back there. Goes all the way through here into this giant bush, which is beautiful. And this giant cabbage, which I need to get out and harvest. That's gonna turn into coleslaw. So that is all super, super, super pretty. Moving on this way, I have lots of flowers. These back here are so pretty. These are all the dahlias I grew from seed this year. I'm hoping that they make some tubers for me so I can save them, although I'm terrible at saving tubers. Down here is the crazy spider web. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know where the spider is. Remember that huge spider I showed you? here's the web. I've been trying to leave it alone, but I have not seen her since. Down here in the ground, I had all these snapdragons. They're growing in the crack of the sidewalk right there. And look at all the seed heads they've produced. And in these seed heads are 50 seeds each. I'm gonna have snapdragon seeds forever. So I'll just put all those in envelopes, and in the spring I'll come sow them right along here. And I'll have another border wherever they take of more snapdragons. Oh, they're so pretty. Oh, look at this pink one right here. I sowed a lot of them this year. I was really all in on snapdragons. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. Let's back her up. Okay, back in here, this is the Tithonia, which is called Mexican sunflower. And that has got these big broad heads on them. Isn't that pretty? The sunflower, oh, look, there's a bee right there. Hang on. I will show you. Hey, buddy. Also, back up in here, in this back part of it, those are sunset runner beans. And they're the ones that are kind of growing out onto the shepherd's hook up into my kitchen window. And those are all going to be a dry bean that I'm going to use as well. Here I've got phlox tucked in back behind these. I have these right here. You can just kind of see the purplish hint just on the edges of them. Let me see if I can get closer. Isn't that pretty? Ugh, they're related to Queen Anne's lace. There we go. And then I've got giant, huge explosion of nasturtium with these really pretty snapdragons all mingled in here. Here's how my fence line is going. All the coneflowers are starting to die. Well, hello, girls. You can see they start to go black. They eventually will turn to like this and dry out even more. And then I will cut all those heads off and throw them in a bag and throw them somewhere, usually at my parents' house, because I have got plenty. And they will go ahead and make new plants, and they come back every year. Hey, Bales, what's up? Hi, garden doggy. The chickens are free ranging in the backyard right now, and the dogs love it. They're friends. Okay, down here I've got some zinnias just kind of popping up. And this right here, hey, little spider. This right here is the ground cherry plant. Remember, it came up all by itself. Let's see if we can find one that's ready. They're supposed to get like this and drop to the ground and be, oops, yellow inside. Oh, but they're still green. Let's see, here's one on the ground. I think it's still green. All right, so I don't know what's going on with these. They volunteered here, but they're not ripening on the plant. So I'm not really sure. I'm not a ground cherry connoisseur. I couldn't tell you. But also over here, hello, how are you? Listen, if you don't like bees, you probably don't like my videos, because I get so distracted when I come out here and find bees on flowers. Are you taking a nap? Siesta time. Okay, sorry, distracted. This guy right here is a Brussels sprout. And you can see on the bottom, he's starting to make Brussels sprouts in the pits there. But not very many, but he's still growing. So I don't want to take him out. He's got a friend over there, not as good of a friend over there, and a really good friend on the end. So I am just leaving them to see what happens. At some point I'll pull them out and feed them to the chickens, but I just want to know how big they're going to get before the frost. All the sunflowers are really meandering now, and I should cut them. But again, I can't bring myself to do it. Look how pretty they are. They're so pretty. This one's really pretty. I got seeds saved from this one. Oh, just so pretty. And then when the sunflowers break, I do have the tomato plants from the other side of the fence coming over this way. So I've been coming through and getting these guys too when I can, and putting them in the freezer for salsa. More tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. I do have zinnias kind of minced in here. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. Look at the bees. Look at this guy. Again, I'm sorry, Hi, guy. What's up? I almost missed these two guys. Look at these guys. So it's gorgeous, beneficial, and I have all these really fun bee ferns. And last but not least is the in-ground garden. Here on the ends, I have got zucchini that is still, ouch, kicking. It's picky. Whoops, look at these guys. Look at them all. 1, 2. Oh my goodness. This one's too big. 3. And it's got another baby right there. And this is after I trimmed the heck out of it back. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. And then over here, I have another plant. And this one has also got a big one right here. Let's see if I can get it. Jeez. Man, not a year for tomatoes, but definitely a year for zucchini. And then I've got pepper plants in here. These are the shishito peppers. These are the ones I told you we eat fresh. So I'm letting those go. These are all the the peppers. These are all the pepper plants I picked everything off of. I didn't pull these out of the ground up here yet, just because I didn't have time. Back in the back, I've got spaghetti squash turning orange. I did check, this variety does turn orange like this. That one's probably ready. Yeah, I think it is. That's good, because powdery mildew is starting to take over the in-ground garden. So I'm gonna get those out of there. You can see that's how they are before. They're green. I need them to go orange. In the middle is still looking gorgeous. Is this beautiful. This was a certain kind of mix. I threw a whole pack of seeds here, and it's all the oranges and reds. It's just gorgeous. And then the bigger Benaries back behind it. That made for a really pretty centerpiece to the garden this year. And then here on this guy, I have got these squashes right here starting to turn. They're gonna go orange too. They looked green to start with, but I'm waiting for them to go orange as well. Right next to it, I have one more section of squash. And these ones are not as prolific on this side, which is okay because the other ones are doing fantastic. But they are still going. Look at the powdery mildew on this side. Yeah, I gotta come in here and clean that out. Here are the other peppers I'm still waiting on. The cayennes, and I didn't have any red ones about a week ago, so that is fantastic. I'm gonna come out and get those, and I'll string those and dry them, so I have more cayenne powder. Yeah, I'll probably pull these zucchini plants out. They're kind of petering out. The hot peppers, on the other hand, are taking off. These are all hot peppers. These are hot peppers here. And then these ones back here are hot as well. Those are all gonna get put into jars and fermented for sauces. And then I've got some beans back there that I'm using for seed. Everything that's here is all gonna be chicken feed. It's just kales and brassicas and sunflowers. More sunflowers. Here's the other really good Brussels sprout plant. You can see in there, kind of into the armpits, you can see the Brussels sprouts. I don't know that any of those are gonna be good enough to eat with all the bug damage over here, but maybe. I don't know. I got some nasturtiums in here, some cabbages that I've never come out and harvested. I've just kind of left as sacrifices. More nasturtium in here. Huh. Look at, there's a giant beet. You see it? It got missed from last year and apparently grew underneath the squash the whole time. There is, this vine right here is a watermelon vine in here, but I don't think there's any watermelon, but I've got a vine. And then just some zinnias. Oh, my dogs are yelling at my husband. Let's see if we can find a sleeping bee. Okay, I didn't find any sleeping bees. I thought I would, but I did go collect eggs. Look at the pretty olive one on top. Those are my blue ones. That pretty olive, that's one of my new chickens. I'm very glad that they all get along now. So I've got 8 beautifully behaving chickens who are back to laying eggs in the nest box. Things are settling down. Very good. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. If you have any questions, leave them below. Otherwise, I will see you soon. Have a great night.